is human beings are mostly suffering from a lack of inner space. We don't understand. We are so claustrophobic. Our lives is so full. And nobody has time, I say. Not even the unemployed. Nobody have time. Everybody's running. So much more. Which is fine if you realize I'm the self. Then none of these things will overcome you. But without really being settled internally, then somehow easy distractions come. Easy distractions come. Suppose you give up your job and then you can't get another job. And you're looking, I can't get another job. That's your problem. I said, don't crucify yourself about it. Something, the universe allowed it. The universe allowed it, because if you're not meant to do it somehow, you will not do it. You'll try, and then last minute somebody come and something will change your mind. If you do it, it's because somehow on some level it's right. It's only, don't start going around now complaining and vexing yourself about it. Sometimes you're wishing to be in another experience, and this creates suffering. Just let it happen. Don't say, this visitor should not come to my house. Say, anybody can come. And let it happen. Say, okay, it's in this body. And so somehow you allow space for that. And observe it. To feel, if there's tremendous feeling of jealousy, is fire burning, and then let it burn, and then be fully with it, but without identifying. Even if identification is fiery in it, find that place of just, it's a kind of surrender, an abandonment, but there's presence there, and the presence is not burning. It will become clear. Some space opens up where there is detachment in it. It's so important, because otherwise quickly you're running for remedy, rescue remedy for everything. Just let it happen, let it happen. And there's a great opportunity, great opportunity of deep seeing that comes out of these experiences. If we don't look for life to be, somehow living in a hammock, but that it can be whatever it is, to have a thunderbolt hit your life, and somehow it's okay. That is strength, to allow total weakness to happen without panic. And be in your stillness. And then you perhaps, that label will not stick anymore. Vulnerability. It will leave your repertoire of titles. You won't call anything. Well, this can happen. Don't say something should not happen. Or, okay, that's the last time that will happen. Who are we to say that? Let anything happen. That is freedom. But don't identify with it. Go to your father and you say, Father, I don't have any money, please could you send me some money? You phone your father, could you send some money for me? I need it urgently. And he says, okay, tell me give me your account. Give me your account. Then he says, okay, I will send it. Then immediately your heart is at peace, because you have that trust. Not you don't believe, I believe he will send it. No, you know. Already you start to say to people, okay, fine, now we can go and get the things because my father is sending it, because you have that trust. That is trust. And there are some people who cannot trust. They just won't trust. Something inside says, no, I can't trust. Until I see it in my hands, I won't And they are said also to be wise, because somewhere it says, a promise is a comfort only to a fool. They're saying like this. That don't live on promises. So it can seem contradictory. In one case, just say the word, but that must be someone who you know in your heart, you trust so fully in your heart. But if you are only accepting promises from people who flatter you, then you will soon find out that there was a mistake. You don't live in promises. So all these things point to a kind of a flexibility, an intuition, a sensitivity, a maturity, an inner maturity that is immeasurable. It just springs out of this. And one thing I would want to emphasize more and more is not only the wisdom factor of spirituality, but actually the trust, the love, and the faith factor also is important. Because otherwise you can learn things and you know it in your mind, you feel really clear, really sure, but you don't have any power. You understand? You don't have any power because you have no trust. You can know these things, when I'm speaking now, we know these things in the mind, you can speak eloquently about it. But when it comes down on the ground, we don't have that trust. You don't step forward, and when the day comes to fight, you will not fight. You say, no, I can't fight, I'm not this type of person, and so on. There's a time when you have to stand up and you fight. Because that's the time. And you do this because you trust, and you know that life calls you to this. Can you drop yourself? This is why I keep asking, can we drop ourselves? Because if you're constantly holding yourself, there's lots of places you will not go. There's lots of boundaries you will not cross. So therefore, your knowledge will be strong only intellectually. But you won't have the potency, you won't have the authority. Because inside, it hasn't touched trust, it hasn't touched faith. And this, I would say, is one of the obstacles, the possible obstacles to a path, you may say, like Advaita Vedanta inquiry or something. That it can seem entirely mental, that you can have the understanding of this. But then life draws you into situations to activate and to bring what you know with your mind into your body and your heart to express it. This is why this manifest life, the terrestrial expression of life, is also very important, because it is the testing ground for what you claim to know internally. Life will bring you into situations to see if what you say here is how you can act here, so that your behavior and your thought, they are one. Yeah. If you have no interest in something, also if any thought or anything is felt to be insignificant for you, you don't have to transcend it. Sure not. It doesn't get even to the place to think, oh yes, I have to overcome this. It simply doesn't exist if it has no interest for you.
Yeah, I understand those.
Yeah.
But somehow there comes again, and
they will come, because when they come, they get 5-star service from you.
Yeah.
Meaning that you give attention to it, you contact, you start to dance with them, you want to play. It's like this for everyone, it's the same. So if you don't give interest to them, they cannot live. You oxygenate them with your belief, your interest. We have to be clear about that.
Yes.
You must identify how this thing got so powerful. is a thought by itself has power, does it? Any thought by itself, does it have power? No, because if a thought has power, it means it has power for everybody, over anyone.
Yeah.
It means one thought for you will knock you to the ground. Someone else would hardly notice it.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to do with the thought, but the thinker. So the thinker, the effect is on the thinker. What is the thinker? Can the thinker be identified? The plans is sometimes a little bit of a taste of fear in them. But when you are again in your natural home, your home in yourself, then you will not need any walking sticks, something is just so fresh, so much space. And there's a natural trust and a recognition that whatever is needed, it is arising spontaneously to meet whatever the needs of the moment are. And you see it. You do see it. And then somehow something relaxes into that deeper trust that I don't have to plan anything at all. And what a relief. In relationships, doesn't work on trying. Like you try so hard to make it doesn't work like that. It don't work. There has to be a freedom. There has to be an inner strength, a clarity, a wisdom, all of these things. You see? It doesn't work on, how much you give, I give so much. It's not the payment. And how much you try and you talk and that don't work. It pushes people away. Because this is too beautiful to try. Something must come and it must be there as a freedom. And if you are aware of this, and somehow intuitively you know when to allow space, and all this will come. But I believe you must also make use of this insight. You have come now, you see there is something that feels I need to hold this thing. See? And it's the same thing with freedom also. Sometimes you feel, as soon as you realize the true state, you feel the immensity of being, and something goes, how can I keep it? And this one is the same one in the relationship also. How I can keep it? You see? How are you going to keep? Relationship is not something to keep. It's to be enjoyed out of your freshness. And in your strength, you find that everything becomes more pure. Everything wants to be with you when you're empty of intention. Too much intention creates tension. You see, when you are empty from this need, from any kind of need also, and this is not an arrogance, it means just in your natural state of being. You don't need to be approved of, You don't even feel you need to be loved even. Can you imagine such a thing? Of being in a place where you don't need to be loved even. It's a very quiet place. In this place, your love becomes very open, very broad, very beautiful, very strong.